The best kind of car to buy is a car that has 180,000 miles or more. You know, when you turn a new age every year and somebody asks you, how does it feel? And the answer is always, it's just a number. Well, when you're buying an old Saab that's got 180,000 miles or more, it's just a number. What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If it is your first time, please be sure to smash the subscribe button, comment below, give this video a like, and stay tuned for more, because there's so much content always to come on this channel, so I appreciate you guys tuning in. Today we're going to talk about this old 2004 Saab 9.5, which passed the Saab Mountain, I said. 2004 Saab 9.5. We are approaching 200,000 miles. If you guys haven't been following, we got this car about 2 or 3 months ago, and we put some money into it and made this thing freaking beautiful. It's perfect. We're driving it right now, and we're actually going to be planning on driving it for a 2,000 mile road trip. It's going to end up being probably more like 2,500 mile road trip when we're all said and done this week. So if you guys have any questions for me, we will be tuning in and making a video during that drive. So if you guys have any questions you guys want to ask, you know, Melanie and I are going to be in the car for plenty of hours, so we can read through the comments section and of course talk about some of those questions and answer them for you guys. So if you guys want to have some fun, be sure to drop a comment below with a question. So anyways, the topic of the discussion is it worth buying an old Saab for 2 or 3 grand? And my answer to you in short is yes. They are fantastic cars. If you know how to get your hands dirty and do some research and figure out problems, it's very easy and cheap to maintain these cars and keep them on the road. And here is the best car to buy. The best kind of car to buy is a car that has 180,000 miles or more. It sounds crazy, but here's why it makes sense. Number one, you know when you turn a new age every year and somebody asks you, how does it feel? And the answer is always, it's just a number. Well, when you're buying an old Saab that's got 180,000 miles or more, it's just a number. That's number one. Number two, the realistic answer, and the reason why I'm saying this is only because if the car has a good history, and that's obviously no matter all the research you're doing on a used car, especially a $2,000 car, is if the owners prior to you are good owners and maintain the car fairly well, I would venture to tell you that most of everything that needs to be maintained and changed and done on the car at 180,000 miles or more has already been done. Whether that's suspension, bushings, fuel pump, alternator, starter could be in that list, water pumps, ignition cassettes, coils. I mean, all these items are fail points between like 100 and 150,000 miles, right? All of the gaskets and seals have probably been addressed at some point, and that's why buying an old car with 180,000, 200,000 miles, especially in a Saab, is actually ideal. Because if you're buying a car with 150, 160,000, you might have a fuel pump that wasn't done, you might have suspension work that wasn't done, such as the subframe bushings in this case on this car. And that brings me to the other side, is if you buy these cars at 180, 200,000 miles for $2,000, and there's some things wrong with them, I would venture to say if the car is running and driving and is in decent shape, that within $500 to $1,000 or whatever it might be, $200 to $500, you can have that thing up and running almost 100%. Because like in this scenario with this car, without the radio which we put in, and without the paint job that we paid, I think we spent maybe $300 or $400 in service items to bring this car back to making sure it has no oil leaks, everything's running properly. Fixed the ABS module, which is a fail point on these cars. So really wasn't a lot of money to invest in making this thing great and perfect. All right, guys, here we go. We got a highway run. We got 198,000 miles, 157. We got it in sport mode, and the car is almost doing 90 miles an hour, and it's just so smooth. The car runs so beautifully. Don't jinx it, Melanie says. But here's the thing, guys. For $2,000, you could buy yourself a Saab like this. Maybe sometimes you can get it for less depending on how you negotiate. Sometimes it could even be more depending on the condition. But let's just say $2,000 average, because let's say you pay $2,500 on the high end for a car with almost 200,000 miles. I mean, look at this thing. It's had some great owners before me and was well cared for, and we put some love into it, and here we are for not that much money. Oh, and by the way, to insure this car costs you very little, because you don't really need to put a collision on there. You just have liability and off you go. Look at this thing. Beautiful.
Look at it.
Would you just look at it? And we're doing a hybrid of local and city. So there's your miles per gallon. This week on our road trip, I can't wait to report to you guys how efficient this car is, because we've already teased it before, and we got some good mileage per gallon on this car. It does exactly what it's supposed to be doing, and that's what a Saab's good for. So yeah, guys, gotta love these old Saabs. There's a couple things I should really stress on. When you're talking about 180 to 200,000 miles on a Saab, especially the 9.5, you know, some of the most annoying comforts that can go bad are the bushings on the rear trailing arm. So if you're picking up a Saab at that mileage range, especially in 9.5, if the owners before you did upkeep on the car and maintaining it, those bushings in this scenario on this car have already been replaced. So it's a really big plus, really big bonus to get into the car, not have to worry about those noises from the rear end, especially when the temperature drops. If anybody out there has a 9.5, you know what I'm talking about. When the temperatures drop to the cold weather temperatures, you know, it starts to creak and rattle and creak and creak and creak on every bump and every time the body shifts and twists on this car. So between that mileage range, like in this car, those bushings have been replaced. So it's one thing that I don't have to do for $2,000, right? So just another food for thought, another little input on that. And I guess it's going to be the true test when we take it across the country this week for 2,500 miles. It's 2,500 miles round trip, so there's your answer for that. So is it worth it? And that is what I have to say in this short, quick video. These Saabs are great, and I hope you guys buy them and enjoy them. So stay tuned for more, guys. A little homework on more is next week, November 27th, is Black Friday. So if you guys are in the Chicago area, we are hosting an event. We are hosting an event at the IKEA, and it's going to be outside, socially distanced. So if you guys want to come and you're in the area, it's going to be from 11 to 1. So be sure to check out the address below if you guys want to come in and hang out. doesn't have to be just Saab. So you guys have a project car you want to bring and show off and talk about, I'm obviously interested in checking it out. So that's it. I'll see you guys next video. Thanks for watching.